Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Bashum, Yahushai, Bashim, Rachak, Wadash. Double understood the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations. Shabbat Shalom to all the hopeful elect that are scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. And this is just going to be a few words. It being the new moon. I'm pretty sure, y'all got alerts, from several pages. All right. Normally, maybe a week or two out from a new moon or a Sabbath day, brothers usually put the, put up alert videos, just as a reminder. And, today being a new moon, it's now officially the true new year. All right. This is the first day of the first month of the year, which will makes this, a new year. And this is the month of the Pesach. So that's coming up in the next couple weeks or so. So just be mindful and be in that spirit. It's a lot of heavy things that occur, a lot of, significant events, so we got to definitely be mindful and, knowing that, we're in a critical time. We know that the moon ultimately was named after, let's go to it real quick. Because we know going back to Genesis, you had the moon, that would be as a sign for, feast, a sign of, wonders, so on and so forth. All right. And this is how our forefathers kept the calendar. It was based on the moon, which the word moon, it literally means month. And it's right here in Sirach 43. It's starting at verse 6, and it says, "He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and of a sign of the world. From the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection." And in other words, when it's full, it decreases, it wanes until you can barely see it. And, when it gets to that stage, that's when it's become a new moon. All right. It says the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing. And we know that the moon increases in its 4 phases, which are the 4 weeks, which makes up the month. It says being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven, the beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of the Lord. So we usually, our forefathers, observed, their feast based on the moon. And right now we happen to be in the new moon, and it happens to be the first month, all right, of the year. So this makes it the new year, the true new year, not January 1st, which the majority of the world, they celebrate or commemorate the new year in the middle of winter, which all it is a celebration of Janus, which was the Roman god of the future. You see a image of it. It's like a two-headed deity, a two-faced deity, one face facing forward and one facing backwards. All right. And they would pray to that and give their so-called new year resolution. That's where that all comes from. But us as Hebrews, we kept the lunar calendar. All right. So, I just typed in the word Abib because Originally, the first month of the year was called Abib, which I believe in the Hebrew is Abiyab, if I'm not mistaken, Abiyab. And these are the scriptures that comes up when you type it in. Exodus 13:4. This day came you out in the month Abib. And that's talking about the Exodus, when we left out of Egypt, out of that captivity. That was during the month of Abib, which was the first month of the year. All right. We exited out the 14th day at evening, and we were to strike the doorpost with the lamb's blood, of a male, no blemish. We had to bake unleavened bread, unleavened cakes, without the leaven, because we didn't have time. We had to do everything in haste, and we had to eat of the lamb and eat the unleavened bread, standing on our feet with the staff in our hand, and we had to basically get up out of there. So everything moved so quick, so we wasn't allowed to have any leaven with us for that entire week. So, we was always to observe that particular month. Exodus 23:15, it says, "Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty." Now, real quick, let me open this up. Let me go straight to it. And I'm kind of curious to see what it says in the Hebrew when you read "in the time appointed." Let me see what that say. The word is mawa'id. It says appointed place, appointed time, meeting. Okay. And the only reason what made me curious to click on that word is because when you go to Psalms, the 83rd chapter, which is one of the scriptures that IUIC likes to use to say that the new moon is during a full moon. Let's go to not Psalms 83. I'm tripping. Psalms 81. Yeah, Psalms 81 and verse 3. And it says, "Blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day." Right? Now, we're to blow the trumpet in our solemn feast. Passover is a solemn feast, blowing of the memorial of the trumpets. That's a solemn feast. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's is it the Feast of Tabernacles? One of the other feasts was also a solemn feast day where you blow up the trumpet. Now IUIC, they'll go into the word for "in the time appointed," and they'll say, well, look what it says in the definition. And this is their stumbling block. It says full moon, right? But during the Passover is in the middle of the month. It's literally two weeks into the month. All right. That's when it's a full moon. So you will blow the trumpet that particular night. So not only do you blow the trumpet on the Passover or in the blowing of the trumpets, but you also blow it in a new moon as well, which is the first day of the month. So when you go to the NLT, it actually tells you, Psalms 81:3, it says, "Blow the ram's horn at new moon and again at full moon," showing you that it's a separation. The new moon is the first day of the month or the beginning of the month. And then again at the full moon is basically in the middle of the month. 2 weeks into the month, that's when you're going to see a full bright moon to call a festival, a feast. So, so yeah, that's pretty much on that. I just want to see what that word in the Hebrew words when it says in the time appointed. All right. Exodus 34:18, it says, the feast of unleavened bread shalt thou keep. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread as I commanded thee, and in the time of month Abib, for in the month Abib thou camest out from Egypt. All right, and then Deuteronomy 16:1, observe the month of Abib and the Passover unto the Lord thy power, for in the month of Abib the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. All right, so if you look up that word Abib, and the word is abayab, meaning to be tender green, i.e. a young ear of grain, because this was around the time when the crops will start to green and they start to spring up and start greening. So that's why it was named that. It says the name of the month Abib, or Nisan. Abib, ear, green ears of corn. All right, in which when you look up Nisan, that's the Sumerian, Akkadian way of saying the first month, in which we changed that on our calendar when we went into exile, when we went into the Babylonian captivity. That was when we started to name the first month as Nisan. And you can actually look it up. It's actually an Akkadian language that, it was borrowed from. Originally, it was Abib. So when the first time you see the name Nisan appear is when we were in the Persian captivity during the time of Xerxes. You had Haman, when he was casting, when those lots were being casted, it was actually during that time frame. Let me see something. So yeah, you got Nehemiah 2:1. It says, and it came to pass in the month Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king, that 9 was before him, and I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been before time sat in his presence. So this is well into the Persian Empire. Esther 3:7, in the first month, that is the month Nisan. So you see in Exodus, it was a Abib. In Esther, it's a Nisan. So they're interchangeable. And so we had 2 different names for the first day of the month, according to the Hebrew lunar calendar. All right. It says in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast Purim or Pawarium, that is the lot before Haman, from day to day and from month to month, and to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. Okay. So you look up that word Nisan. The word is Nayasan, and it says probably of foreign origin, Nisan, the first month of the Jewish sacred year. It's in Nisan, meaning their flight, the first month of the Jewish calendar, responding to March or April. And I'm pretty sure it says the same for Abib when you actually look it up. They usually have it around between March and April. It says, fresh young barley's ears, barley, month of ear forming, of greening of crop, of growing green, Abib, month of Exodus and Passover, March or April. And technically, tomorrow's the 28th. We know that this the Gregorian calendar, it throws everything off because it has leap years. Certain Februaries there's 29 days, and then there's certain Februaries there's only 28 days. This year it happens to be 28 days, but technically months are supposed to be 29.5 days. So it's all the times are screwed up because Esau, he thought that he sought to change times and seasons. Was that Daniel? It is Daniel 7:25. It says, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High." And we hella worn out. This damn captivity. Brothers is overworked. And really, when you look it up, it means to constantly harass. We're constantly harassed in this cesspool. And that's why we hasten the coming of the day of the Lord. I don't see how you can really think that, we're not that close, that the day is far out. You got to be too damn comfortable to even think that and to even teach that. All right. We're too worn out, man. We want the day of the Lord to appear. All right. Anyway, it says, and think to change times and laws. And that's what he's done over the course of time. We went through several calendars. You got the Julian calendar going back to Julius Caesar. You've had other calendars, and now we at the Gregorian calendar. All right. And the months and the days of the week, they're all named after Greco-Roman idols. So things are going to go back to its rightful order, when Yahweh Shai returns and take the kingdom. That's when everything's going to be established, law and order. And we're going to go back to the lunar calendar. All right. Because Esau got everything all mixed up, man. Everything is like it says in Psalms 82. The world, they walk on in darkness, and the whole world is out of course. And that's because this man, he destroyed everything. He changed the times, he changed the laws, the ordinances. So everything is pretty much screwed up here. So right now we have to rehearse the righteous acts. All right. Brothers can't even keep the Sabbath the way you would normally want to keep it, because we're not sovereign. Some brothers got to go to work, when we supposed to technically be, reading the law, blowing a trumpet, having a feast. So we're in captivity, man. It says, and they shall be given into his hand until late time and times in the dividing of time. All right. So we're going to be under his hand for a certain period of time. Basically that short season, when you read was that Revelation 20, you're going to be let out of, he shall be let loose from the prison for a season and deceive the whole world. And that's basically what he did. And he came and he changed the times. He put up the Gregorian calendar, just threw everything out of whack. So, so you see that, the month of Nisan and Abib are interchangeable. We didn't start to call it after Nisan until after the Babylonian exile. Okay. So, yeah, we basically in the new year, and it's going to be some significant things that's going to, take place. This being a heavy time, it's always that way. Guys in Israel, they start to show themselves. You start to see that leaven appear, in their doctrine. We just have to deal with the latest one. Over there with the gorilla. And Nate, he's doing his shenanigans again. Going on these platforms. So, we're in that time, man. But the Lord's going to start showing Himself. All right. Now, I'm gonna read this little article real quick. This is from Forbes. It says today's super moon sets up Ramadan, which we don't keep no Ramadan. That's for them Arabs, the Muslims. We're not Muslim. But it says a blood moon and solar eclipse. All right, and like the scriptures say, the moon serves for a purpose. For a declaration of signs and also feasts. Wonders. Certain events. So it says a super moon is about to cause a slew of astronomical events at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, February 27, 2025. That happens to be tonight. There's a new moon when our natural satellite will be lost in the sun's glare. Although it won't be precisely between Earth and the sun, it will be in exactly one orbit's time to cause the second of two spectacular eclipses. Before that, however, the moon's forthcoming appearance as a crescent is about to have consequences for billions of people on our planet. It says, why today's new moon is a super moon. What is a super moon and when is the next one? The new moon this weekend is a super moon. Though it will get almost zero publicity and remain a little secret among stargazers. That's because it's a new moon. This is a cut to the IUIC. All right, that teach that only it's a new moon when it's a full moon. This article begs to differ. It says that's because it's a new moon, so it is not visible, so won't get much attention. That's because it's crescent. All right, so you can barely notice any light of the moon when it's a new moon. Then it starts to grow as it you go towards the next phases or the next weeks into the month. That's when the brightness increases, like it says in Sirach, the 43rd chapter. It says, however, the concept is the same as a full supermoon. So there's going to be a supermoon, but it's during a new moon when you barely notice anything. So that got to be significant. It says the moon's orbital path around Earth is slightly elliptical, meaning every single month it reaches a point called apogee when it is farthest from Earth, and a point called perigee when it is closest. A supermoon is merely the moon at perigee or perigee. They occur every month, but in all kinds of different phases. It says why supermoons are important. The reason supermoons are notable at full moon and new moon is the gravitational effects that they have on the tides and Earth's oceans. A supermoon at a new moon causes the strongest king tides because of the combined gravitational effects of both the sun and the moon being on the same side of Earth. Next full supermoon is on November 5th, 2025. Arguably, a supermoon at the new moon is more important than a supermoon at the full moon, particularly to those in coastal areas. Is yet another reminder that humans tend to focus on things that they can see rather than what's really important. Like the Lord said, you can discern the face of the sky, but you can discern these times. Just look at what the Lord is doing. And it's getting ready to tell you, of the next notable event to take note of. It's a similar situation with the current planet parade, which is being perceived as a rare alignment when in reality it's merely a line of sight illusion. All right. So you got this lunar eclipse and then solar eclipse, and then you got this planet alignment. So all these things are not coincidental. And this is from Economic Times. And it says planetary parade on February 28th, 2025. How, when, and where to watch the rare celestial event in the USA. And it says the planetary parade on February 28th, 2025 is a once in a lifetime celestial event that will see 7 planets align in the night sky. This rare planetary alignment, also known as planetary parade, will be visible across the United States and other parts of the world. If you're an astronomy enthusiast or just love stargazing, this is an event you don't want to miss. And I wonder what the elites are going to be up to during this time as well, because, they deal with, their stargazers and their wise men on the left-hand side. But this to us, this is just a sign that, that time is approaching. Something significant is bound to happen. And we don't know what it can very well be, but we know the times that we're in. All right. Let's get Acts 2. Actually, let me get Luke 21. It is Luke 21 and 11, and I'm going to jump down. It says, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. That's happening every day in various places all around the world. There's sites that give you alerts on, the latest earthquake activity as well as volcanic activity. It says in famines, they're talking about this egg shortage. The price of eggs shooting through the roof. Right. And that ain't, that's still not a famine yet. Famine is, you're going to know it's a famine, when you ain't got access to anything, or you can't afford, none of the food. So everybody's just forced to go and loot and, basically be up under austerity measures. Put people bum rushing in stores. That's when you're going to know. It says in pestilences, you got the measles right now. A kid just died from it in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Then you had this other illness outbreak in the Congo. They said it killed like 50 plus people in hours. So it's a lot, going on. Whether it's being airborne, whether it's Esau creating it in the lab and releasing it, testing it on people. Whatever the case may be, but we're in that time. And fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. Constant chariot sightings, appearances in the sky and, in the clouds. We're going to see those things. These are all significant. All right. And let me jump down to verse 25. It says, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations. And everybody's tired. So it's a lot of protesting, scares of government overthrows, whatever the case may be. And the scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So the world is under distress, and it's only going to get worse because we're still only in the beginning of sorrows. All right, wait till we finally enter into Jacob's trouble, the time of Jacob's trouble. The world's going to bug the hell out, man, especially Jake. And they're going to realize that, we wasn't just fear mongers. We were, inspired to warn you by the Heavenly Father through his only begotten Son. It says, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. So these are the signs to look for, right? It's going to be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. So basically in the heavens. So that's why it's important to view these things, all right, with that serious mindset. Okay. It's what the Lord is showing us. And the scriptures say, and the end is manifest. Let's get 2nd Ezra 9. Now I'm going to start at 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, I just read that in Luke, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. All right, and the Pesach is coming up. We in a new moon, which is the beginning of the new year, and it's starting off with a super moon during a new moon. All right, and then it's gonna follow by this planetary parade. Then we're gonna have a lunar and a solar eclipse. So all these things are all getting ready to happen. Okay. So, yeah, man. And we're just going to continue to, keep watching, as well as, like the scriptures say, be sober and be vigilant. All right. Also in 1 Peter 4, it says, the end of all things is at hand. Therefore, watch unto prayer. And that's all we can do. So hopefully y'all were edified. And we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And until the next one, Shalom.